Okay. I'd like to introduce, as one of the participants in today's protest, Stephen Cleghorn, an organic farmer from Jefferson County. Stephen, let's give him a applause.
Hi. I just want to say that even though I live outside of the Susquehanna River Basin, just to the west of it, today anybody that lives in Pennsylvania lives in the basin. What we saw inside were 5 commissioners who made a new wrinkle on that old fable about see no evil, hear no evil, speak no evil. But in their case, they saw no evil, they refused to hear the evil of fracking, and they spoke a great evil of allowing water withdrawals for fracking in the Susquehanna River Basin, enabling an industry that is determined to march across half the landmass of Pennsylvania and turn it into an industrial toxic waste. I'm so proud to be standing with these folks here today who stood up to that. We're going to see a lot more of this. If necessary, we'll go down to the river and we'll take those pipes out of the river when they try to draw that water out.
My name is Barbara Van Horn.
Barbara, wait a minute. Another media member who just showed up. Just give it a chance to record.
I'm recording.
Okay, good. Okay.
Hey, Barbara. I have lived in Pennsylvania for 80 years, and I have lived next to the Susquehanna and the small creeks that they are trying to steal the water from. I wonder if any of those people who made that decision realized that the Susquehanna River is called the River of Dreams, and they are trying to turn it into the River of Nightmares and take it away from all of us.
Yeah. All right.
And I'd like to introduce Maryfaith Miller. Maryfaith is a dairy farmer from Cortland County.
Hi. I've got a son at home who wants to be a farmer one day, so I came down here to be a witness to what's happening to the water that he's going to need to be a dairy farmer, and that we all need to live. And I just came down here to witness this board, this rubber stamp board, give away all that water to corporations who are going to permanently remove it from the water cycle by polluting it with things that we can't even take out of the water. So here I am today because our water flows into your water and all our water flows together, and we have to stand up to this board and say, you cannot use our water this way. The future generations will never forgive us if we don't make a stand.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I'd like to introduce Mordechai Liebling, is a rabbi from Philadelphia and joined us today for the demonstration. Here you go.
Hi, I'm standing out here on March 15th looking at blooming daffodils on an unseasonably warm day. Today is the Ides of March, a day historically of warning. And what is the warning of today? Well, seeing daffodils on March 15th means that there's something wrong with our climate. We are in the midst of global climate change. And what the Susquehanna River Commissioners did today is to allow more fracking. And what do the two have to do with each other? Well, we know that fracking releases lots of methane gas. And it turns out that methane gas is 20 times worse than carbon dioxide in terms of a heating effect for global warming. So allowing fracking is allowing methane gas to be released, which is going to accelerate global warming. We also know that allowing fracking is taking resources away from putting money into renewable energy. At this time, we need to be putting money into solar energy, into wind energy, into geothermal energy, any form of renewable energy. Imagine standing out here in 5 years on February 15th and the daffodils are blooming and it's 70 degrees. What's going to happen to our climate? What's going to happen to our environment if that happens? So what the commissioners did today is to enhance the probability of global warming. We all have to act together to protect our environment. As a rabbi, I am here to witness that it is the role of all human beings to protect creation. It is our responsibility to be the stewards of creation. And today, we saw the Susquehanna River Basin Commissioners violate that stewardship. We have to call them to account. We have to call them to moral responsibility. It is the moral and ethical responsibility of all citizens of this Commonwealth to protect this environment. We have the right and responsibility to stop those commissioners from destroying the land around us. We can demand that they stop being good Germans and decide to stand up for what's right, which is to protect the environment and to protect the public health of all citizens of the Commonwealth.
And now I'd like to introduce Iris Marie Bloom, who also joins us from Philadelphia with Protecting Our Waters.
I'm so proud of everybody today for being willing not just to risk inconvenience and discomfort, but to actually risk our freedom and to be willing to go to jail in order to protect our brothers and sisters throughout the Susquehanna River Basin in all 3 states, New York, Pennsylvania, and Maryland. The downstreamers are at risk. The Chesapeake Bay is already critically endangered. We don't need to add more poison to a situation where our rivers and our bays and our living creatures are already critically endangered. I'm going to say the obvious. New York has a moratorium on high-volume hydraulic fracturing with horizontal drilling. Maryland has a moratorium. The Delaware River Basin has a moratorium on this extreme, dangerous, and deadly form of fossil fuel extraction. Why is the Susquehanna River Basin, which is enormous, vital, beautiful, and endangered, any less valuable than the state of New York, the state of Maryland, or the Delaware River Basin? I say it's just as valuable. It deserves a moratorium just as much, and we're going to make sure that we protect the people and the all living creatures in the Susquehanna River Basin. I'm going to say just a little bit about some of the corporations that were granted multi-million water withdrawals today. Rex Energy, for example, has caused 12 families in Butler County to be living in a state of emergency right now without access to clean water. Families have moved out, including a family with a newborn, people living with disabilities, an unemployed person. It is the vulnerable who always get hurt the worst when it comes to this type of industry. That's happening right now as we speak. We know what's happened in Dimmock, but we also know that throughout Bradford County, where Chief that was granted water withdrawals today, and Cabot and Chesapeake are all running rampant in Bradford County, where families have been evacuated because of methane migration. Families have become sick because of chemicals, including glutaraldehyde and formaldehyde and other things that I can't pronounce that are absolutely from fracking showing up in their water. It's well documented. What are we doing here? Public health is at risk, and there has been no health impact statement anywhere in the state of Pennsylvania. The question is, do we care about our people and our health, or do we not? Do we care about our environment, or do we not? We have to stop this, and we have to stop it now.
I'd like to welcome Lynne Iser. Lynne? Lynne is a mother who's joining us today.
Hi. So I want to speak to you as a mother, as a woman, and as a human being to recognize that it's our responsibility to take care of our young. And I care for my children, and I care for all children and all beings on this planet. How can we pollute the source of all life, the water that will sustain us and sustain our children? How can we not care about the resources of future generations? How can we only take what we need now for ourselves and not care and consider what future generations might need? We are raping the earth that sustains us. That is not caring for our young. That is not being wise. Whether we need the gas or whether we don't need the gas, we know we need the water. We can replace gas. We cannot replace the water that sustains each and every one of us, that will sustain our children, our grandchildren, our great-grandchildren, and all generations to come.
Rodney Platt from Delaware County. Hi, here.
The last time I was here in Harrisburg was for the farm show in early January, and I attended the governor's luncheon as he addressed 900 attendees, and he answered a question concerning the Chesapeake Bay Foundation's lawsuits against the state of Pennsylvania and this organization we're protesting today, the SRBC. He said Pennsylvania will not let them and the EPA get in their way. And I say, this is crazy. We won't let them get in our way for clean water, clean air, and a better future. Thank you.
I'd like to highlight, my name is Alex Lotorto. I'm from Pike County. And I'd like to highlight one permit that was, two permits that were approved today were for the Keystone landfill in Dunmore. And the significance of the Keystone landfill is that it's run by Louis de Naples. And Louis de Naples is an Italian Catholic like me who insists on accepting 1,000 tons a day of drill cuttings that include radium-226 from Marcellus wells, and putting 1,000 tons a day, which was just approved last week by the Pennsylvania DEP. And these water withdrawals are enabling him to dump radioactive waste in Dunmore just outside Scranton. And I want to tell Louis de Naples that he better stop taking that toxic waste and dumping radioactive waste in our area in Northeast Pennsylvania. Second, and I'll say a prayer for him. Second, I want to also mention that the Susquehanna River Basin Commission is made up of Governor O'Malley, Governor Corbett, Governor Cuomo, and President Obama. And I want to send a message to those four, especially President Obama, in an election year, in a swing state. Here you see mothers and grandmothers, farmers and youth and children, disabled, nurses who have stood together today to say, I pledge to protect the Susquehanna. And he needs to make a decision in his campaign if he's going to drop natural gas from his campaign, or if he's going to put natural gas off the table as a dirty energy that is not worth the destruction of our rivers, of our public health, of our land, of our drinking water, and of our local economies, which require tourism, recreation, real estate, and agriculture in Pennsylvania. Our bread and butter economies are being displaced by industrialization of our rural landscape. And I want President Obama to think about the organizers who put time into his campaign, who are fighting fracking right now, if they're going to be enthusiastic enough to keep it up for him until November. He needs to make a decision, and that needs to come today. Our river. Whose river? Our river. Whose river? Our river. Whose river? Our river. Whose river? Our river. Okay. And I'd like to finally wrap up the press conference. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out today. Thank you, reporters. If you'd like to get more specific quotes and interviews, I'll be over here to the side, and with the people who testified, if you could join me over on the side for further interviews and names and information. Thank you. We'll be back.